Welcome to Bring Out Your Badass Self, a movement to break your negative thoughts and habits and instead focus on building each other up and encouraging fearless authenticity.
Each week, we will get vulnerable and share experiences alongside our guests and audience. Come rediscover your inner badass self.
Good morning, fellow badasses. Today I have my co-host, my guest co-host here with me, and we're going to be wrapping up our conversation on the law of compensation, which tells us we get back what we put out in abundance. And today we're going to be focusing on mindset, energy, and returns. And we'll be discussing what you put out returns and how your mindset shapes that return and practical ways to protect and amplify our energy. So before we dive in, I want to give an introduction to my guest co-host. We have Julie Powers joining us today. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning. Hello, badasses.
And so let me give a little bit of an introduction to Julie, and then she can give a little bit more about herself as well. Julie is a wellness ambassador and a sacred space holder, and it's going to be very appropriate for today's topic as we continue on. Julie has spent over a decade guiding people to healthier, happier lives as a fitness instructor, a whole food educator, a level 2 Reiki practitioner, and also the author of Dancing Through. She is also the founder of Soulular Sisters, which she has curating intimate women's for authentic connection, healing, and growth. And so maybe Julie, tell us a little bit on the person.
Oh my camera is like not connected.
And giving them a little bit insight too.
Are you able to hear me?
Oh, now I can. Did you not hear me?
No, it was all frozen up, which we didn't have any problems in the waiting room, right? And now that it's live, it's like
So today, as everyone knows, 3i Atlas, came in, and I think maybe we're even supposed to have cellular flares. So who knows whether we're having
right. And I have everything turned off in my house. Everything's turned off. Nobody's on Wi-Fi, so I don't know. I think you wanted me to talk a little bit about myself.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I'm in my basement right now. And I live in Missouri. I have a fabulous husband who just retired a couple months ago, long overdue. And our son lives in Colorado. He's coming here tomorrow night with his lovely partner, and they'll be here for a week to celebrate Christmas. We have other family members in the house. One of your mainstay badass audience members, J. Rowe, is in the house. And I don't know. I like to play tennis. I'm really bad at it, but I like to play. Love to watch professional tennis. I don't know. What else do you want to talk about? I love movies. I love to cook really yummy food and try experimental things. Yeah.
I love it. Well, I heard from someone, they said they could hear you, but for whatever reason, they were having issues hearing me. So I do want to make sure that people, know a little bit about you. So, in the past, Julie came on our show, and she is the author of Dancing Through Darkness. We actually talked about that previously. And, Julie is just really one of those energetic spirits that has really just helped to uplift people ever since I've ever known her. And one of the things that I had said is that she is a wellness ambassador and a sacred space holder. And she really has done a lot of amazing things that we're going to be talking about today, that a lot of times she doesn't even realize she's doing it. She's just adding happiness and helping people in ways that sometimes you don't even realize it until much later. And so we're going to dive into that today as well.
I do want to say that I am very grateful that you asked me to be your last guest of the year or last co-host of the year. I feel very honored. And I just want to make sure that the audience knows that I don't know anything about anything. When it comes to these laws, really, I mean, of course, we know what the laws are. We've heard of them before. But then, really, when you start thinking about it, you go, oh, wow, I really don't know how this works in my life until you start diving a little deeper. So I'm here to learn from you and the audience members and just be part of the conversation.
I love it. Well, I thought that you would be a good person for this particular topic because I think that this law actually comes naturally to you in a lot of ways. And so that's why, as I was looking at different individuals, you came to mind for this particular law. So we're going to be diving in it today. And I do want to just say hello to some people. So J Ro is coming in saying, good morning, badass. So looking forward to today's episode because my sister is on. Yes. So Julie is J Ro's sister. And she says, love it. Listening while I can, sending huge hugs and love actually from Missouri. Still sunshine, but burr. So
yes,
is it
and
cold in
she's on
Missouri?
her hotspot because I told her she couldn't use Wi-Fi while I was doing this.
Is it pretty cold there in Missouri?
No, it's actually lovely right
Oh,
now, and
nice.
it's supposed to be 72 degrees on Christmas Day. It
Wow.
was 16 degrees last weekend, and now we're in this. So
Wow.
you know,
It's going to be warmer in Missouri than here in Atlanta
it's a little cuckoo.
for Christmas. Interesting. Well, we also have Heather joining us. She says, happy Friday, all. I have a meeting at the half hour, but wanted to pop in and listen as much as I can. So thank you so much, Heather, for joining us. We also have Maya. So thank you so much for joining us. She says, good morning. I've been out of the loop for a while, but I'm excited to be able to listen in today. So glad you're here and joining us. We have someone from I guess from YouTube asking, is this AI? No, we are very real.
What a strange question.
Oh, maybe it was because I was freezing. I don't know.
Oh,
Sarah, you're freezing and cutting in and out. So that's what one of the individuals had said. So maybe that's why they were thinking, is this AI? And then someone else saying, what is this? So join us, you'll see. Thank you for dropping by. Kim says, good morning to two beautiful badass ladies. Happy Friday. All right. And then someone's still thinking that we are AI. So hopefully we can prove them wrong. So thank you, Epic Doge 2020.
oh my God. Don't even use that term. I don't want to hear Doge anything.
All right. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to dive in today into the law of compensation. Carrie's also saying excited to catch the last episode of the year. So wow, yeah, 2025 went by very quickly. So one of the things we've been talking about the law of compensation in the last two episodes, and we talked about returns and sort of that payback that you get, and sometimes how it comes to you in unexpected ways, because a lot of times we are doing things. And it's funny, I was just talking with Riley about this yesterday, and she was talking about how she said when she goes to the mall with her girlfriend, they will smile at 10 different people. Like that's her goal is to smile at someone and also compliment them and tell them something about themselves. Like you have beautiful eyes, you have, I love your hair, things like that are just genuine, but, taking the time to sort of say things to people. And we were talking about how a lot of times, we might actually do things because we're also sometimes wanting that. But sometimes what we're putting out there, we get back in maybe unexpected ways. Like it doesn't come back to us in the same way that we give it. And so I was curious if you had a story that would go along the lines of this law of compensation where you paid back or it paid you back in an unexpected way.
Yeah, I think that whenever you first asked me this question before we went live here, the first thing that popped into my head was what we already discussed, the fact that I was part of that book, Dancing Through Darkness, which was actually a story about my daughter, Emma, and her passing and what my life was kind of like in the middle of it and after it. And after she passed and moved on to the other side, a lot of people asked me to write a book. And I was like, that is just too overwhelming. But in my head, I kept thinking, this is a story that needs to be told. This is a story that needs to be told. People are asking for it. And so I knew that I was like putting that out there without putting it out there. But it was a thought. And it was, burning sort of in here that, yeah, I keep getting asked to do this. And when I met someone who said she was part of a book project and they needed another author, another woman to be part of the project, would I be interested? And I'm like, I just don't have the bandwidth to write a book. And she's like, just write a chapter. That's all you need to do. And then it was like, oh, it was so unexpected that I would be allowed or offered an opportunity to tell my story that has been asked to be told in a way that I could do it, like just a chapter, that's all we need. And so it just felt like it was something that was meant to be, and that I had put it out there, but when it came, it was unexpected. It was like not something that I was fervently desiring at the moment. It was just something that had been there, so.
Yeah. Well, it was the universe saying it wants your story, also understanding that you were concerned about the amount of time it was going to take, and also providing it in a way that you were like, oh, I didn't even know that it was possible to just do a chapter. Like that probably wasn't something in your mind. You were thinking, if I do it, I'm going to have to write like a lot more in order to really write something. So I love that.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of times they say, when a door is closed and another one opens, or a window opens, and when we're working toward a goal, sometimes it's so hard to like look at how am I going to get there, because the road goes like this. And so like, I didn't know if I ever was really going to be part of a project like that. I never thought I was actually going to write a book. But then when that came to me as that little nugget, it made sense. And so I was glad that it took a long time, but it was done.
I love that. Carrie also reminds us, and we talked about this in previous weeks, is that compensation isn't just about money. It includes mentors, opportunities, clarity, and personal well-being. What joy when it happens. And I agree wholeheartedly. And I think a lot of times when we're doing things, and we'll talk about this a little bit about our gifts and things like that. You know what? Maybe let's go ahead and talk about that. So one of the things that I think that is important is also when we are focused on the things that are our gifts that we have. Sometimes it isn't always about working harder, or it isn't always about working to get money as well. And so I'm curious, in your experience, what does, when you're really strategically channeling your gifts that lead to more meaningful compensation. And whenever I say compensation, again, like Carrie said, it's not necessarily that money aspect, but when you're really thinking about the gifts that you bring forward to people, what are the things that you do that just come sort of naturally without having to work harder?
I think that something that happened very recently in my life sort of helped me answer this question when you asked me before we went live. And so this is what I'd like to talk about is I am really good at giving my opinion. I'm really good at saying a lot of things that people don't necessarily want to hear, but I'm also mostly to my family and my dear friends that know me really well. But I also have a gift of being able to listen to women when they are pouring their heart out without judging them or trying to fix them. And that is something that I didn't know I could do. until I sort of learned more about how to do that. And then I realized I am able to do that. And I had a very dear friend that dropped something off recently, and she was going through a really rough time, and she did not plan to stay in my home for a very extended period and just spill out a lot of things that were troubling her. But she said, I'm a safe space. And she felt like she could say that to me without feeling like, oh my gosh, she's going to judge me. And I thought, okay, that is really, really important, because I've been working on this project to connect women to be more in sisterhood, because I think we've lost this ability to really be closely tied to other women, because there have been so many times that people have been stabbed in the back, or we all live in these filters and fakery and AI influencers that aren't real. And so I'm really trying to take that natural ability to connect women with each other in small retreats, groups, Zoom conversations, in-person conversations. And it does seem to come naturally. And it doesn't feel like it's a hard thing to do. All the other stuff around it, trying to put it into a real package in order for a business to come out of it, has been more complicated, because my brain doesn't know technology very well. But that natural gift of being able to pull the women together and, be in circle and sisterhood or one-on-one. It feels really good, because then you've done it. And I think you guys did such a great job last week on your show with your two panelists, just talking about that whole give and receive, that if you dish out the kindness comes back to you. If you are a mentor to someone, other people will mentor you, and the people will show up in your life. But, if you're able to just sit and listen to somebody and you feel their heart, then that's a really good feeling to know that you've been able to do that.
I mean, what an amazing gift to be able to provide to someone when you really think about that. I've had similar situations where I'm just sitting down with people and people will say, I know you won't judge me. And just those simple things of being able to be a space that people understand that you've been through it, like you've done you've had a lot of things happen in your life, and people could potentially judge you about that. You are also now, and that's how I felt about myself, is that, I've gone through these types of things and people could judge me in a lot of ways. And I don't really let that bother me. And so it's also bestowing upon other people of, it's okay, like if other people judge you as well, and just being that space for people.
Right. Yeah. Now I'm not 100% judgment free. Like there are things that I will judge, and I am being honest about that. But I do know that in these sacred spaces, it's like you set that container every time for those people, those women, those connections, that you're like, yeah, this is it. And they know that if they tell me something that is not to be shared, it is, as the Seinfeld episode said, it was in the vault. It was in the vault.
Oh, you're going to have to use that term somehow. So J-Ro also says, yes, she has done that with me, and I'm so grateful. My sister is the best listener. She listens intently, and she is my safe space and my strategic advisor. Grateful she has always been there for me. And that's amazing to feel. I actually feel that way about my own sister as well. Funny enough, I think our age differences between you and your sister and mine and my sister are about the same as well. So which I find I think is interesting combination whenever I start thinking about it.
Yeah.
Well, so we talked a little bit about energetic return. And when we think about that, how do we think that that might differ from financial or recognition based returns? We've sort of touched upon this a little bit more, but have you had any examples of like energetic return and how you think it differs from the financial side of the house versus recognition based?
Well, I think everything is an energetic return. I mean,
Yeah.
literally everything is, because the things that I've been doing, even in my professional life, I do a lot of different things to make money, but I don't make a lot of money doing the things that I do. It's a little bit here and a little bit here and a little bit here, and it's been more about that feeling of what I'm providing and how much I believe in what I'm providing. And from whole food education and helping people understand nutrition, and getting back that feeling of they're getting healthier, thank you, or somebody sending me a message, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about you because I decided to drink water instead of a soda. Like I haven't heard from this person in years. And so you just think, okay, that just came back to me because I helped somebody. But like in my Zumba classes, I've been teaching Zumba for, it'll be 15 years in March, which I cannot believe it's already been 15 years. And I get paid for the hour that I'm there teaching a class, but there's so much more involved with being a fitness instructor. At least for me, it is a whole thing. When somebody new comes to my class, I introduce myself, I ask them their name, I write down their name and their phone number so that I can send them the schedule and get the spelling correct, because I feel like that is a sign of respect, is to know how somebody's name is spelled and how do you pronounce it. And then I try my best to remember that person. And if they come regularly, then I know them very easily. But then I'll even say, oh, this is Shelly with an EY. This is Shelly with an IE. This is, because I want other people to respect their name. And they feel very welcome and seen. And they tell me that. And just had somebody the other day, Monday, I was waiting to go into the Zumba room and the class before me hadn't finished. And a woman walked up the steps and she's like, you're my hero. And I'm like, I don't even know you. and she said, I watch you in there through the window and you're always smiling and happy, and just the people look like they're having such a good time in your class, and it just makes me feel good. And I just wanted you to know that. And then 30 seconds later, a man walks by who's walking the track, and he's like, I just need to tell you this because you're standing here, but my wife and I find you so inspiring. And when we're walking out here, we see that you love what you do, and we can see you're pouring your heart into these people in your class, and they're having such a good time. I'm like, why don't you come dance with us? You don't have to dance well, because I mess up all the time. But that's a really good thing. And then just knowing that even the people aren't in the class are getting something out of the class. And I've, over the years, I've had some women that they've literally told me that the class has saved their lives, like, and some really heavy stuff in their lives. But they said they knew that I would be there. They knew I would be smiling. They knew I'd have good music, and they knew at the end of the class they'd feel better. And that, I mean, how do you put any price on that? Literally, there is no price for that. And I get paid gazillions of dollars from, this rural Missouri town to show up for an hour to teach. But that really, it's priceless what comes of it. And it's such it's a community feeling in the room, and people form friendships and connections, and you see them asking about each other and going to have coffee afterwards. And these are people that would never have come together. I don't know. It's just, it's a wonderful thing. And if you're not part of a like a fitness group somewhere, I always say, find the exercise that you'll do. That's the best one, and go do it with somebody, and, make it a community effort.
Yeah, I love that. And they talk about like the ripple effects. And so
Mhm.
think about the things that you're doing and the infectious, just energy that you're generating to someone else. And because of that, then they're feeling that and passing it on throughout the day.
Yeah.
And so that's really the where the law of compensation comes into play, is some of those things that we do that then also trickle down, but then
Right.
it circled back to you in,
Yeah.
from individuals that aren't even a part of the actual class. They're just
Right.
walking and they're enjoying, seeing you excited. And it
Yeah.
gives them excitement as they're walking.
It's really fun. And I just thought of something, Sarah. During the pandemic,
Hmm.
when I didn't get to teach my classes at the Civic Center, everything was closed up, right? But
Yeah.
I did my Zumba classes on Zoom, which was not the best situation. But it was what we could do, right?
Right.
And I needed to see those people on the screen. I needed to be able to dance with them. And I knew that for my physical fitness, I needed to continue dancing on a regular basis and moving my body, or I was going to weigh 100 pounds more by the time we were set free. But over that time, it was like my energy was getting completely drained out of me.
Mm.
And there were days that I would teach my class on Zoom and I'd feel great. And then within an hour afterwards, I went and would lay on my couch and Corey would be like, "Are you okay? This is not normal." I wasn't watching TV. I wasn't reading a book. I was literally just laying there staring into space. And I'm like, I need people.
Yeah.
I need people. And so when we went back to teaching in person, that first day, when they walked into the room, even though we were all spread out, we were more than 6 feet apart, we were, in a different room, turned on that music, it was like I had been plugged in to
Mm.
every person that was in the room. And I thought, this is the energy
Mm.
that I needed. This is, it's people, it's connection, it's seeing their eyeballs. It's, that when you're doing stuff by yourself, yes, that's great. But when you have someone else connected to you and you're exchanging that energy, it's exponential.
Yeah. And so Maya said a couple of things. She said, "Girl, same." And then she said, "Oh my God, love that. I used to teach Zumba and loved that
Yeah,
experience."
you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Nick's joining us. She says, "Hello and happy holidays to everyone." Hello, Sarah. So thank you so much for joining us today, Nick. Great to see you. Abbas is here as well. Good morning to you as well. Good morning. Such an amazing topic today. Glad you are joining us as we're finishing out the year and talking about the law of compensation. Maya also said it's an amazing impact that you don't even always realize in the moment. I've not taught or I've not taught for such a long time, and people will still see me in a grocery store and come up to say how they miss that. And so I love that.
Oh, I
Yeah,
do have a question for is it Maya or
yeah.
Mia?
I think it's Maya because I think the other one is the knee, and so I try to remember. I think I point to my eye when I say her name. So
All right, so this is a little off topic, but because she's a former Zumba instructor, to me, there are so many times that literally I'm in the grocery store, because she just mentioned grocery store, and I'm in my normal people clothes with hair done, makeup on, and I look like myself, and they don't know who I am. And so I turn I'm down the aisle and I'm like, "Hey," and they're like, if they don't know me very well, they just know me from class. And I'm like, "Julie, it's Julie." And they're like, "I didn't recognize you with your clothes on." And always there are other people in the aisle. And I'm like, I am not a stripper. I am a fitness instructor. I am in normal clothes today.
Got to be specific. I didn't
Gotta
recognize
be
you in your
specific.
clothes, in your normal clothes, your workout
Yeah.
clothes, Hard
Yes.
on.
I always have my clothes on in public.
That's hilarious. I love that. I think about this particular, topic of like the things that we do to be able to, um, the energetic return, the things that we do well. And I think for me, one of the things that I always love is dancing as well. So whenever I've done like little videos and dancing, people just always enjoy that. Whenever I'm at conferences or at different things, people always ask me, "Are you going to sing as well?" And so, just thinking about like those things that we do that aren't always necessarily our job,
Mhm.
or the things that we do to bring in income, the things that we that help people get energized, and also as you were talking, I was also thinking about connection. So whenever you were in 2020 during COVID, not having people, how that, the energetic connection of people, how that return is important as well. And I think about as we're continuing into even the AI world, as we're continuing, and how that human connection is going to become even more
Right.
important.
Right.
How that type of connection and what you're doing with Soulular Sisters will be really valuable to make sure people are continuing to stay connected, versus all of the digital aspect of things that I think are going to continue to come.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be very interesting because so many people are investing more time with not real humans.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. I don't want that. I think there's a place for AI. I think that it does some pretty cool, amazing things, but I am really very terrified about losing our
Yeah.
humanity and losing that connection. And
Right.
so that is one of the reasons that I'm putting this Soulular Sisters together for women 50 and older,
Yeah.
in the best half of our lives, trying to get that sisterhood back together for the
Yeah.
energetic exchange.
Well, I'm looking forward to AI, but I'm also looking forward to, I think, all the things that people are scared about, it's up to us. It's up to us to do the things that we really want. So if, I keep trying to think about this law of compensation and also the other laws that we've done. The more time we worry or have fear on those things, we're also bringing that energy in. And so I just continue to remind myself, okay, well, focus on what it is you want
Mhm.
versus what it is you don't want. And so that to me is also the law of compensation as well. So I think that that's one of the things for us to remember as well, is that and I want to talk a little bit about this, but I think along the lines of also worry and fear, whenever we're feeling burnout, for example, that mind shift that we have to make becomes really important. And I think that sometimes it shows up in worry, sometimes it shows up in fear, sometimes it shows up in exhaustion because we're just so burnt out. How do we then make that shift, that mindset shift, to be able to help us to then get to opportunities and growth? Or where have you seen that in your life?
Yeah, I have been connected to a company for a long time now that's part of my whole food business. And
Mhm.
about a year and a half ago, they started with a technology change, a digital upgrade to our back office. And very necessary, just extremely challenging. There were a lot of things that didn't work really smoothly. And so it made it very difficult for me to provide the customer care that I was used to being able to do.
Mhm.
And so my frustration level was getting higher and higher and higher. And I didn't like that. And so, of course, my husband was like, what do you have control over? Like, what do
Mhm.
you have control over? So that helped just sort of
Yeah.
yes, I can still connect with my customers. I can still provide the care. It just takes me longer to be able to get the information I need. And I sometimes have to jump through hoops. But that challenge in my life made me start thinking about other things in my life that I was interested in, but had never really taken the time to explore.
Yeah.
And so I think being open is always a good thing for a mindset, and not being so stuck in our ways. And so that was actually when I looked at getting involved with Reiki, because I had Reiki done on me many times in the past. And I have all these amazing friends who have extremely cool, natural, intuitive gifts. And I call them my woo-woo friends, even though woo-woo is just kind of a weird word because it's all science at this point. Just hasn't been researched and documented in all the ways that everybody will accept it yet. But they are so cool. And I was like, I want the woo-woo. I want the woo-woo. And so as my frustration level was getting higher, I was really looking at what can I do differently? And so when there was a Reiki class, I mean, it was a whole weekend long. It was going to be a lot of learning. It was, morning till night. And then you had to practice a lot before, really. And they're like, you can do this. And I'm like, I don't have the woo-woo. I don't have the woo-woo. I don't know. And they're like, yes, you do. You can do this. And so I allowed myself, I opened that mindset up to allow myself to be, yes, I was openly skeptical of my ability to do it. And the thing is, it's not even my ability. It's just my allowance of letting the Reiki energy flow through me. I'm not doing anything. It's Reiki energy flowing through me. I'm just the conduit. And so it worked. Like, I was actually able to help people, and they were having the coolest experiences with me providing that. And that was a complete mind shift for me, that I can do this. I am able to provide. That was really a very big difference for me.
I think that that's really important because that really goes to like the self-limiting beliefs that when we think we can't do something, we're not going to be able to do it. But the moment we start to open ourselves up and have that ability to set aside, okay, let's just try. Let's not have that pessimism of this can't happen. The moment we start to do that, that's when things start to open up. And I think that's when the beauty of just the universe giving back to us really happens. And Maya said this, she said, and I was thinking this and she posted it, and we apparently have so much in common. Julie, what?
Maya, you're my girl. We need to connect.
I was thinking the same thing. I was going to tell you both, you need to connect. You both are such amazing individuals. Maya also does Reiki as well and had gotten back into it. And so she does a lot of other phenomenal things as well. She does marketing, photography, just all kinds of different things. I think you guys would be a good combination.
Great.
Yeah.
Looking forward to meeting you.
I'll connect you guys. And so you're both on LinkedIn, and so I can definitely connect you.
I don't use LinkedIn very well. I'm more, I don't even know what to do there. So,
well, I'll have to see if I have her on text or not, but I know I at least have her on email previously. And so, and you should go back and check out the episode she was also on, because I believe Maya was on twice, and you've been on.
This is my twice
as well. So,
yes.
So you guys have both been on twice. So I love that. And she says definitely. So I love that.
Is it like Saturday Night Live when you host enough times you get a coat? Are you going to
Oh,
send me a jacket if I come on again?
I know. I was thinking about that the other day. Returning champion. There's one particular host that always says returning champion. And I was thinking about who that
Alex
returning,
does that
yes,
on
who that
Next Level
returning
Soul.
champion is.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Nicole also said, agreed, Sarah, collaboration is the new currency. That's a human to human thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that that's going to be huge as we continue to move in this digital world, in the AI world, and understanding that. I wanted to bring up something, that you were talking about, and go back to that self-limiting belief. And I think that one of the other things that when we're looking at other people as well that are around us, a lot of times we might not have the self-limiting belief, but sometimes other people might have the self-limiting belief. And sometimes just believing in them sometimes goes, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll try it. So I was thinking about the other aspect as well. And how did it feel to have people that believed in you and were like, Julie, like you can do this? And
Yeah.
How did that impact your mindset?
Well, it was really an interesting switch, because I'm usually the person telling other people, like, yes, you can dance. Yes, you can do that thing.
Yes.
Even with my sister going through some pretty challenging times, I'm like, you've got this. You are so strong. You are so knowledgeable. You know what you're doing. She's very talented at things. I have friends that they second guess themselves in a lot of areas. I'm like, you know how to do that. You've done that before. Like, I'm usually the cheerleader.
Yep.
That's my role. I've been a freaking cheerleader since I was in 5th grade. And so that was a long time ago. I was like, long time ago. So whenever you have somebody believing in you, you're like, oh no. Until they just say it the right way. It's like you can hear the same thing from the person that loves you the most, and you don't listen. And then the next person says it and it's all new. And you're like, what? Really? But like I said, I have some really amazing friends, and they were all saying, yes, you can, Julie. Yes, you can. And I'm like, okay, I'll believe you. And so, it's really nice to have somebody be your cheerleader. Now, I will say, I don't know if Corey's watching this right now. Corey's my husband. He is always my cheerleader. Always my cheerleader. And he is the nonstop support, as annoying as I can be as a wife sometimes. He is always my cheerleader. So,
well, I think you brought up a good point, that sometimes the people that are around us that you're always hearing, you can do it, or, I believe in you, things like that. Sometimes for whatever reason, we need to hear it, I guess, sometimes from other people. And I'm always curious about that as well, that sometimes we sort of look at the support system that we have, and sometimes it's like, well, I just need like someone else, to also tell me.
Right.
And I'm curious.
Well, what about you on that?
That's actually what I was thinking about, is that, I have individuals that will tell me, but sometimes you just need, I don't know, it's sometimes people that have been there, done that sometimes, like you can have a support system and people, but they don't know how to actually help you or guide you. But I think in your case, and as I think about mine, sometimes it's having that, sometimes someone that's a little bit more expert maybe in the topic, that then once they're telling you you can do it, all of a sudden then you get a different energy about yourself.
Right. Do you find that more in your professional life or in your personal life?
Professional.
Yeah, because you are so connected to so many different professional aspects, and like, I'm not in a corporate world really, which is great. I love that.
Yes.
But I am connected to different types of industries that all have their own personalities. And so, it's very interesting to see how each of those industries deal with the cheerleading aspect of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think there are some that lend themselves to more of the competition versus the collaboration. And so that's where you get into that scarcity mindset.
Yes.
If they're doing well, I won't be noticed and I won't be seen, versus if they're doing well, I can do well because they're doing so well. I can do even better, and we can all be. The big pie is just going to get bigger. It's not like we slice a piece of pie out and there's no more pie.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going in different directions here.
Yeah, no, I love it though. She also said the partner you choose in life is so important. And I've talked about this before. And interestingly enough, I think all three of us have this experience with each other, that when we don't have a partner that is really helping us along the way, it's like night and day whenever you do get a partner that is helping you to grow and be and there as a support. But I think to go back to your question on the professional side, I'm typically the one that's trying to encourage people, you can do it, that type of thing. But I'm up at the top. So I don't really have anybody to goes, yep, Sarah, you can take this next step. I believe in you. So you either have to find it yourself, or you have to find someone that's even higher as a mentor to be able to help you. So for me, it's more as you continue to elevate, or as you continue to do different things, it's finding someone else, because you're like, I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
Type thing.
Well, and that is something that just came up recently. Is I was telling somebody that the older I get and the wiser that I get, the more that I know that I don't know that I know I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you think you're like, when you're young, you think you've got it all figured out. Nobody has all the answers except you. Then it's like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing, and everything I do is right. Everything I say is right. But I do know that there's so much I don't know.
Yeah.
And I am more willing to say, I don't know how that works. I don't know the answer to that one. But when I do know it, I'm much more confident about the knowledge that I have.
Yeah. I have a question for the audience. So, we've been talking a lot about mindset, and I'm curious from the audience, what mindset belief about giving or receiving is holding you back from better returns? And so I'm also curious, I'd like for each of us to answer this as well, Julie. So within your mindset, have you ever had where your belief of what it is that you will receive, or about, the things that you give, have you ever held back? And are those sometimes those beliefs holding you back from getting better returns?
Oh, I'm sure that has happened many, many times, because there are times that you think, I don't know enough. I'm not worthy. I didn't pay the dues on this one. I didn't, you just feel like I don't belong here. It's more, the imposter syndrome, or it's just the worthiness factor. And you second guess yourself and like, this isn't going to happen. And then you get into that whole law of attraction thing, right? And then we're doing our mixed metaphors and our combo laws. And so, yeah, I mean, it's true. It's true that what you put out is what you're going to get back. And so if it is a scarcity mindset, then that's what we're going to have more of.
Yeah.
And if it's, I'm not worthy, then you're just going to feel more unworthy. So yeah, it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
So,
one of the things that I've observed is whenever I look at this particular law, mine has never been around money. Even whenever I think back to like when I was growing up, I never really realized that my parents were like at a point that they could possibly, if they didn't get a paycheck or if things didn't happen, I don't know where we would be type, situation, like
Mm-hmm.
as we were growing up. But I didn't really necessarily know that as I was growing up. And I think about that, but I also knew that I, was taught, to put in the effort, like set the action, like what is it that you're wanting, and put forward the action plan in order to receive. And I was talking about this, I think, on the last episode of, as I moved forward, like with my career, I always just went full force. And that ended up providing me, like, I never had in my mind really money in a lot of ways. It was always like, how can I do this? How can I do my best, dim and achieve? Like, my thing was always, what is it that I'm trying to achieve, and doing my full effort. And then it ended up paying off for me money wise. But as I've talked to other people, I've found that not everybody has that type of mindset. They're thinking, what do I need to do to get XYZ, to get, this type of money? And I realized that my mindset is different than a lot of people. I never really have money in my mind. Money just comes based on the effort that I'm actually putting in, and the value or the things that I'm doing. So I'm curious, for the audience, if there has been anything like that where, maybe it is your mindset that is really holding you back as well. Any further thoughts on that, Julie?
No, when you were just saying that, one thing that Corey, my husband, has always said is just continue to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And the money will come.
Yep.
Like, just do the right thing. Just do the right thing. And yeah, I mean, we haven't starved. We've been through some really very challenging times. But yeah, I mean, and right now, I mean, so many people are in this mindset of, what's the next thing? How many shoes are going to drop before, something really big changes? So yeah. And so I'm interested to see what the audience says.
Yeah, Maya said, I have a tendency to super duper undervalue what I bring to the table. Constantly working on that, but it undoubtedly holds me back. And so, thinking about the things that you're providing even as a service, sometimes we undervalue the things that we're doing, when in actuality we need to say, no, this is the value. And that's one of the things that I think I also treat, like, as I have people that I hire, a lot of times I will look at it, and if it seems fair, and I'm not the type of person to go back, well, can you give me a discount? Well, can you do this? Like, I want to pay people for the value that they're worth, because I also do that in my own business. I'm like, well, you could go get someone for $100, and it'll take you, 14 hours to accomplish that, versus just paying us and you'll end up paying for 2 hours, it's the payoff a lot of times. So I think sometimes it's also understanding the value that you truly bring, and understanding that you are worth that as well.
Yeah, that's the scary thing, because we were just discussing when I launched this business in 2026, the final pricing it's scary. It's scary to say, no, this is really what the value is. This is really what my time is worth. This is really what the overhead costs to create this environment for the safety and the security and the sanctity of this sisterhood, and what we're including in it. And so, this is a very challenging piece for me.
Yeah.
So yes, Maya, undervaluing is it's a thing. It is.
Abbas adds, it's exactly like that. The mindset is everything. And yes, money always, you have to be honest, and in your work, you should have dedication and money flows. So I think that also goes back to what you were saying, is that if we're focused on, and we talked about this in the last episode, if we're really focusing on the value of what it is that we're doing, and we're coming from that heart-centric approach of providing the value versus looking at how much money we can get, that's when we end up getting the compensation that we need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
J-Ro adds, an old boss told me that all he wants people to do is to simply try and actually give a shit, care. When you do that, people notice, and positive things can come your way in your career. It's simple. And so I agree. It really is about just giving a shit in your job. And sometimes we also will back up and go, well, if they're not going to value me, then why should I even put in the effort? Well, now they're not going to value you even more. So, so there's that combination of not, you have a talent and you have a gift. And the more you demonstrate that, the more you show it. It may not be with this employer, for example. It might end up being with someone else who recognizes you. So whenever you're not giving your full, now all of a sudden that other opportunity may potentially not come. Mm-hmm. So I think sometimes, when people think about that, like even in their job, and they're not giving it their full, they're actually hurting themselves in the long run, I think. Mm-hmm. And keep in mind that they're not necessarily going to get maybe what they want from that employer. It might be someone else, or maybe someone else leaves, and then they brought that, ability or opportunity to you.
Right. I spoke with a young man, a college student last summer, and he was working a summer job. And he said that he and his pals that work at this place, they figured out a way to get all the work done in the first 2 hours. And then they just sort of hung out the rest of the day. And I'm like, but don't you want to keep being productive at your job? Don't you want to show that maybe there are other things that can be done to improve the efficiencies at this place? And maybe there are some creative ways to expand, and the owner would really recognize that and thank you for that. And he was like, nope. And I thought, okay. There are people that really just want to do the bare minimum. And my mind is thinking, no, you want to make it better. You want to expand it and find more ways to help. And it was just it just hit me really hard. Oh gosh, there really are people like that.
Well, I think about it though, but those individuals value maybe that time that maybe they don't necessarily value wanting more money or wanting more responsibility or more, achievement or things like that. They're just valuing life in a different way. They're valuing that time. And I think that that's okay too. Like everybody has their own desires, but whatever it is we're getting back, we're going to, that's what they're going to get back as well. So it's, looking at that, like if you're wanting something different, then you got to make a change. What is it that you then need to change? But, this person, they seem, okay with, with where things are at. So,
okay.
Yeah. So Nick also add, that is not a good practice. Hold to your pricing. It's either the client sees or does not see your value. Ooh. How's that resonate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. And then Maya also added, I'm always flustered in the blue-collared world, the divide between management and field. That is where I feel that the give a shit thing needs development. Carrie also added, a book I just finished was a good read. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson is a counterintuitive self-help book arguing that true happiness comes from choosing what you care about, your values, and letting go of everything else rather than seeking constant positivity. focusing energy on what really matters is sure to return. And that's what I was saying about that person. Like, okay, well, that must be what they value. And so it's interesting I think it's always important that we're looking at what it is we value, and that is what will come back in return as well. Yeah.
Yep.
I love that. So thank you guys so much for the interaction today. I want to start to wrap things up. So I want to ask you, Julie, if you could give one energetic exercise for our audience to try this week, or what is your daily ritual that recharges your energy bank and amplifies your return, what would that be?
Well, I have a morning practice and a nighttime practice. So if you're a morning person or a nighttime person, you can pick and choose, I guess. In the morning, the first thing that I do after I, brush my teeth and all the stuff, is I do a 5-minute stretching routine that gets my blood flowing. And then I do a 5-minute meditation using the Reiki precepts. And you can go Google those, but it's all about, doing the right thing in life. And so definitely go look up the Reiki precepts. And then I do another meditation where I'm trying to connect and focus and just be open to what is my purpose for that day, and to try to be as receptive for guidance, for where am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to be doing? What is in the highest and best good for me and everyone else and every living thing? And I really do try to focus on those things every morning. And then at night, when I get in bed, I have a journal that it's just a calendar, and I literally write down what I did during the day. Like, it's just this, I've been doing this since high school. I literally have every year of my life, like what I did during the day, except for 2 years that got flooded in my parents' basement. And then I write in a gratitude journal, and I write at least 3 things for which I'm grateful. Sometimes those are so easy to come up with for that day. And other times it's like, I'm grateful for this comfortable bed. I'm grateful for this comfortable pillow, because it's been a really hard day, right? And everything's hit the wall. And so those days it's hard to come up with the gratitude. So I force myself to write 3 things down minimum. And then I do some affirmations that I have on cards, and that's my day, because I want to start the day with the right mindset, and I want to end the day with the right mindset, because I know the last things that you do before you go to sleep are the things that are going to be rolling around the most. And I do have one practice for people, and this is not necessarily mindset, but I have a stack of just paper, scrap paper, right next to my bed. And I have a little container with pens and pencils in it. And if I start getting stuck in a loop of, oh, I need to remember to do this, or, oh my gosh, what about this? Or do I need to, and if I feel myself getting in it, I literally reach over, grab the paper. I don't turn the light on. I know right where it is. Grab a pen, write it down on it, throw it on the floor, put the pen back in the thing. And then the next morning, I hope I can read my handwriting.
I love all of that.
It exits from the brain. And so, yeah.
I love that.
It helps.
I would agree. Your sister says you actually do this, everything you're talking about, and that you're very structured, disciplined, and dedicated person. She said, me, I'm the total opposite, but she wishes she could do those things. And you can. It all is a matter of deciding what of those things are maybe the most important thing to you that you would want to do. Oh, there was something else that popped up. The one thing I do is give myself a high five in the mirror when I brush my teeth in the morning and say, you're doing great, Jen. You've got this. Keep breathing. And so I like that. And sometimes it can just be that simple thing that whatever it is that helps you. I love that you keep a journal about all the things that you have done, and also the gratitude. Doing that, I think, really helps people with mind shift changes, and just being grateful for the small things in life, or the things that sometimes we neglect and don't always appreciate in our life, can really help with that mindset shift.
What do you do?
Well, for me in the morning, I typically, although my schedule has changed and I haven't been able to do this because now I am taking my daughter to school. So her ride had a wreck, and now I'm the person that is taking her along with my husband. But whenever I do have the days that, which is really Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, my husband takes her and I take her Monday and Friday, I spend time in a rocking chair, and I actually just finally got a meditation area off of my bedroom that I'm setting up. I'm finalizing it. And for me, I love rocking. So like, it's just the meditation feeling, the meditative feeling of rocking back and forth. But for me, it's being able to sit there in silence and just breathe in and out, and really being just present in the moment, and not doing things as far as like scrolling on your phone or things like that, but to allow my thoughts to come forward, and just allowing how it is that I'm feeling. And a lot of times I will get inspiration. Then I will, after I spend time doing that, then I will look for things or get inspired by different things that will help me with creativity for the day, or things that I'm needing to do. So for me, it's just having that time to just decompress. And then one of the things I've started to do is, whenever I am feeling stressed or a lot of things going on, I will just take a 1-minute breather. And one of the things that I'm starting to do, even with people in meetings, is, hey, can we take just a 1 minute, both of us just getting reconnected. So I'm trying to add that slowly into my practice of whenever I'm going from meeting to meeting with individuals. And so those are the key things that I tend to do. And then at nighttime, I focus on different types of binaural beats or meditative music, different things like that, where I will spend some time there prior to going to bed. I tend to use my phone whenever I have ideas and things like that. If I have something stuck in my mind, I will actually just spend time releasing it to the universe. Like, okay, this is your problem. Like, I'm going to release it to you. So those are the things that I tend to focus on. One thing I'm going to be adding to my repertoire is, I'm waiting for an aquatics fitness person to start at One Life, which is right down the street from me. But I plan on going there, and that's where you're going to become sort of my Zumba.
Right.
As I am looking forward to starting in with aquatics exercise with them.
That is great. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm interested with your breathing techniques. I don't recall if you've had a guest on that talks about the somatic breathing and the different techniques, but I have found that Dr. Andrew Huberman has a little technique where he breathes in through his nose and then does a quick breath. So it's that one where you go,
Yeah.
like you breathe in, and then you breathe in faster and harder to get the full breath, and then just blow it out. But also the audible exhale was something that I learned a few years ago, and how powerful it is, and how different it is to exhale with sound versus just the breath. And so I like to mix it up, but I just wondered if you had
I love
secret techniques.
I try different things. So, there's even some online to try different types of techniques. So, so I like trying them all and seeing how they feel. Yeah. Well, I love that. So I want to sort of end a little bit on some final thoughts. And if the audience has some thoughts on this as well, to sort of prepare you for 2026 as well, is, how would your life change if you trusted the law of compensation to always have your back? And so I want to see, I want to have Julie, if you can give me thoughts on, if you always just trusted the law of compensation had your back, how might your life change?
Oh, well, then it would be just so much less worrisome.
Mm,
I mean, really, because there
yeah.
are so many divine laws of the universe and there are laws of humanity that if we all covered those bases, the world would be a much better place. And so, yeah, I think that in my own skin, if I would remember these things on a regular
Mm,
basis, I mean, it's always a goal. It's always, like I strive to keep these things top of mind, but then all the shit comes down, right? And it
yeah.
lands, and then priorities shift, and there's a health problem, and there's some fire to put out over here, and there's, family members that are struggling with this or what, and you're like, and then so if you have, I mean, even
Mm,
reminders from you and your shorts and your, little messages that you put out on other people that I follow, those are just great reminders. Like, okay, stop, recenter, get it back together. And
yeah.
I think too, whenever we are trying to help other people on a regular basis, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
So much easier. And just like you were talking last week with the panel, was when we are actively bringing kindness
Mm,
into the world and trying to get that light to shine out, then it's so much easier to remember because that comes back to you.
yeah.
So that would be my thought, I think.
Yeah. For me, it's if I just trusted the law of compensation, I would, as you said, worry less about some of the things that are going on in the world. I would focus only on what it is that I think can provide value uh, in the way that I'm most authentic. And I think just, a lot of times it's just pushing those things that we worry about to the side and going, you know what? It's going to be all right. We're going to figure it out. Like, it's continuing just to, for me, focus on the connections, focus on what it is that we do well. And then those things will come back. So I agree with you. It's a lot less worry if we really just focused on just trusting that things will come back to us.
Right. Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I thank you so much, Julie, for one, being the last person for this year for me. And then
I am so honored.
yeah, I love it. I love, you were very instrumental in things, as we started that first year in doing things. And I love having you back and also just ending with you in 2025.
Well, I appreciate being here with you and with the audience and whoever happens to watch later on. I hope that 2026 brings a lot of badass commentary, conversation, a lot of expansion, that you keep up the conversations with people so that we can all continue to learn and be in this community. And I don't get to be on live ever. I always have to watch the replays.
Yeah.
I had to shirk my duties this morning with my normal Friday morning thing. But we're looking forward to it in whatever capacity you bring it back in 2026.
Thank you. I appreciate that. If people want to connect with you, what is the best way for them to connect with you?
Probably not LinkedIn. I know I need to be on LinkedIn. I do have an Instagram page and a Facebook page. I'm, one of the older people in the world. So when you're 58, you still have a requirement to have a Facebook page, I think. And so that would be the best place. And it's Julie Ross Powers, ROSS. Julie Ross Powers. And I believe both of them are public. So you should be able to find me. And yeah, Maya, if you want to get some additional contact information from Sarah, she's welcome to share that with you.
So your Insta is at Julie Ross Powers?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I think both of them are.
All right. I'm going to add that. So if you want to be connected with Julie and you aren't having any success, let me know, and I will definitely connect you with Maya over here. And she also asked to be connected to JRO as well. So I will be sure to connect you guys.
And in 2026, Soulular Sisters, SOULULAR, cellular level sisters will be a real thing, and that will be another way to connect.
I love that. Well, for BOYBAS, I do want to let you guys know that I am going to be returning next year. I'm already in the process of finding some new individuals to be able to bring on. I am going to be doing it most likely the first 2 weeks of the month. And then I'm actually looking to add a third week, but that third week, it would be a conversations. So we would all come together. We will just have private conversations with each other about the past episodes. So I'm just looking to be able to bring some people together because I never really get to talk really one-on-one with people. And so I'm just looking at how it is that I can not do 4 times a week on topics, but still talk about some specific things. And next year, it's going to be really focused around first awareness. So some of the things that we have going on, bringing awareness to topics that are influencing us and maybe the things that are impacting us and hindering us from really building those connections with other people. I will then be focusing on skills for the next quarter. So things that you can do to be able to help yourself. And then the third quarter, I'll be focusing on support and application of those things. And then the fourth quarter will be about empowerment. So I'm changing things up a little bit, and I'm still bringing all the individuals together, people that I'm going to be bringing on. I am looking at bringing on maybe some experts on specific topics. So I've been connecting with individuals. And so be sure to be on the lookout as I start to unveil what it is that I'm going to be doing next year. And I just want to thank everyone for just really your support and your connection in 2025. The things that you say, privately as well as publicly really just inspire me to continue forward with BOYBAS in 2026. And so I just want to say thank you to everyone that has been a part of this journey. And as I go into 2026, I'll be doing it, solely as it ended here in 2025. So it really is having me continue to expand my capabilities and the things that I'm doing as well. So I want to thank you for that and for the encouragement from people asking me to continue forward with it. So I want to just wish everyone an amazing holiday, however you celebrate. I just want to wish everyone time with their family, really connecting with the people that matter at the end of the year, in the people that support you, love you. Really, this is about, building up for next year and making those connections that will allow us and inspire us in 2026. And again, Julie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And again, thank you so much for everyone joining BOYBAS in 2025. And we will see you next year.